Hello, welcome to Divine Heartfire. My name is Vivian Moon. I am a psychic reader and a spiritual mentor, assisting others in their transformational process on the spiritual path to find peace within themselves and their relationships. For this reading, we're going to be looking into twin flame connections, and we're going to be asking what is going to heal this connection. And by heal this connection, I do not necessarily mean get back together. I mean, what is going to bring the most healing for both people? And when there's the most healing, best life. As above, so below. As within, so without. When you heal within, everything around you falls into alignment. So for some of you, you're going to get back together. And for others, you might not, but it's going to be okay. And that's the whole idea behind these readings, is to come into acceptance of both outcomes, no matter what and who you are and your soul contract is. Okay, so this is the third installment in the saga. So I actually did two readings before this. The first one was what's going on in this connection. The second one was what's blocking this connection. And this is the third one, was going to heal this connection. So if you feel called to watch the first two in the saga, you can find the links to those in the description of the video. And if you feel called to just watch this one, you absolutely can do that too. This is pile 1, 2, and 3, and you will find the timestamps in the description of the video, and I'll see you in your reading. Hi, pile 1. So here we have this stone representing karma. Okay, so what needs to happen is karmic cycles need to be cleared, cords need to be cut, energies need to be cleared from the auric field. You might be an empath, or your person is also an empath. Displaying less empathic characteristics. So part of it is like the narcissist empath for some of you, and for others it's just like questioning whether or not your twin is actually a good person, and that whole unconditional love thing, asking about what that even means. Okay, so we're gonna roll a dice for divine feminine, divine masculine in this connection. All right, so we have 15, which is devil energy for the masculine. And for the feminine, we have 19 reverse, which is the wounded masculine within. Okay, so this is the inner child. So there needs to be inner child work done, specifically around feeling oppressed or abused or anything like that. Like, because your twin is going to mirror like the abuse you went through, and it could be neglect. It could just be that your twin is caught up in addictions or third parties. And the lie is that you make it all about you. You make it all your fault, when your twin, what they're responsible for is not, you are not responsible for their, internal or external dysfunctions that are going on in their life. And for them, it's learning to love themselves through all of the dysfunction and forgive themselves for all of it. Okay, if the masculine is watching, it's for you to also get in contact with this inner child who is driven to perhaps things outside of themselves to feel whole inside. What we have for the subconscious card is teeth in reverse. Teeth is all about feeling supported. So I'm just getting that for both twins, it's this feeling of this lack of support for, I'm getting it's who they are, right? Who you are, your desires. And so it's like you need to be able to support yourself mentally, emotionally, financially, before this connection can even really happen. Okay, before the two of you can even really come together, if you're meant to come together. It's about teeth is about anxiety, because this is from the dream deck, and it's about teeth falling out. And so teeth falling out is kind of like, it represents a lack of self-care. And of course, because the gums represent support, it's like a lack of support from others. So not knowing how to care for and support oneself due to a lack of support from others. Star Keeper. So what I'm getting that you need to do on a deeper soul level for healing, right? Aside from validating and loving and integrating the inner child in this lifetime, you should look up the completion process by Teal Swan, or shamanic soul retrieval for the inner child work. But it's also understanding that you hear the Star Keeper energy. You actually need to start grounding yourself and drawing light into your auric field and clearing your aura Go to vivianmoonalchemist.com because I'm going to be hosting some empath clearing workshops. Okay, so vivianmoonalchemist.com. I will also put that in the description. That's my other website. Cosmic ancestor feels like you're a star seed or an angelic. And what you need to do is you need to access your Akashic record and clear your Akashic record from your past lifetimes, is what this really feels like. Okay, so overall, I would say that if you felt like you've never been supported in this lifetime, where you need to get that support is from the divine, and you need to really get energy right from the divine, which matches the vibrational signature of that which you want to feel. We're talking about downloading experiences that you've never had in this lifetime. And so the inherent blessing in not feeling supported, not feeling loved, feeling like a second fiddle or not a priority, not cared about, not seen, not heard, is that the only real source we can get that from is source. And it's even more interesting and complex when we realize that source is self. So really, the only place we can truly generate that energy from is ourselves. Okay? And so if they don't support who you are, what you do, how you be on either side of this twin flame, it is like the training through the healing is getting love straight from the divine and allowing that to transform you. Simply allowing it. Because see, this is an open heart here with this Star Keeper. It's about opening your heart to the possibilities that the divine is able to provide for you. You have to be in faith. See, this is 19. So I feel like once this happens that the external masculine, right, of the connection can come more into their true self, which is not being defined by all these external things. And of course, this was the divine feminine too in this connection, being defined by all these external things, addictions, other partners, not being able to let go of the past, not being able to let go of work obligations that they don't really want to do. What about divine feminine? See, so for the divine feminine right now, as you're watching this reading, 11 reverse simply means you need to open that gateway. This is the 1111 portal that I'm filming this on, by the way. It is timeless, but it's like the 1111 portal taught us that there is a place that exists outside of time. I'm saying surrender this masculine, if you're the feminine watching, surrender them to a timeless place. They could, come into this sun energy tomorrow or 30 years from now. And you'd be so trusting in the divine that it wouldn't matter when it happened. 6. See, so that's the lovers. So when you do that, it's saying you will be in the vibration of love. When you truly surrender to divine timing and allow this person in the physical to do whatever they need to do right now, to go through their entire process to where they begin to access this light within themselves, which is no mean feat, my friend, no mean feat. It is truly something that takes an awakening. If they're not awakened yet, they need to be awakened when they need to be awakened, right? It's a divine timing thing. So if you surrender them to divine timing, it can actually speed up the process. But the goal isn't to do it with that intent. The intent is to be free. The intent is to free yourself from this feeling of not being supported by deciding that you don't need the validation support to be stable, to take a bite out of life. Okay, so for the feminine, it's encouraging you to just be in divine love and subtract physical masculine from the equation of your life in terms of what gives you happiness. Okay, we cannot find this happiness from an external source in this situation, or probably in any situation, but this is what you need to hear right now, and this is how you need to heal right now. You need to find the happiness from source itself, and you can download any program you want from source. Okay, if you want a personal reading, you can go to www.divineheartfire.com. If you want training on how to clear the auric field, you can look up Empath to Alchemist on Facebook groups, or you can go to www.vivianmoonalchemist.com. Hey, Pile 2, welcome to your reading. We kind of started at 10:10, so I feel like an ending, right? But with tens, it's an ending that is very like karmic in nature, and the way karmic spirals work is it's like an ending and then a beginning to the next layer of the spiral, which then brings you full circle within a shorter period of time than previous. So it's saying that karma is being cleared in your connection right now through fated events, and it most likely could be a separation energy. Let's get on the die. This is Divine Feminine die 15. So attachment from the feminine side, addiction on the feminine side, maybe work addiction, or feeling, or dad issues, Saturn return, feeling boxed in, trapped in the connection, feeling like you can't really do what you want or be who you want. From the masculine side, power struggles, but power on both sides, because 15 is like the devil power and the strength is like the more like animalistic power that goes beyond like social construct. It is more of like the artistic energy, the Leo energy. So we have Capricorn, Leo. We have sometimes Aquarius too with the strength card, because it's the Aquarius Leo axis. But with this 15, I'm just also just getting it's about connection to the material plane and feeling very, because this is my little pizza stone. Okay, I love this thing, but it represents consumption. Okay, so for the feminine, it is the need to kind of feed off of, and I'm not saying in a negative way, the energy, external energies, and that's all it is. Like, it's like technically, according to universal law, we should be able to just live off air and not need to eat anything at all. But it's not realistic, right? So it has been, up to this point, unrealistic to I guess like consider the masculine separate from oneself, because there's an attachment here. And with this, it's like feeling disempowered within the connection and controlled within the connection. Okay, so we've got some heavier vibes for this pile, but hopefully this will help you to discern what you need to do. We have blindness reverse, so shadow work with blindness reverse, because look, it's like we have the red, we have the blue. Realizing too that the masculine and feminine are perfectly mirroring each other. So it's not just this dynamic on one side and the other. It's a feeling of like codependency. So yeah, you want to look up like how to release attachment. And that also will help you to see the flaws and the shadows of your partner. And you really want to ask yourself, is this something I want to continue? Because, okay, what I'm getting is that the shadows on both sides are mirroring one another, to where however you think your person is being oppressive or power struggle or very like hot-headed or angry or like needing you to be a certain way, you're also doing the same thing. So zero pointing, okay? Look up Morgan Lee zero pointing on YouTube. And that will also, that's a technique you need to use, I feel, to heal. They're saying, yes, it's like you need to see your partner's flaws in you and then forgive them in yourself. That is what helps this person, because you guys could be together actually with this energy, but it feels like maybe like if you're together, you feel separate and like very separate energetically within the same room, and you're not, and you're kind of like talking over each other's heads and not seeing from each other's perspective, okay? This is about understanding the other person's perspective and that it mirrors your perspective. Wow, we have the great severing, Mars energy, anger, conflict, softening to love. So this is how you soften to love. Where you see the person mirrored back to you, how they might feel like they're consuming you or objectifying you, or it's like, oh, you just want me for sex, you don't want me for love. There's a lot of sexual energy here. So that's with Mars energy, it's like you have so much sexual attachment. It's like, that might be something that's clouding your judgment about this connection, is like how good the sex is. That's like something that that you need to be able to reassure yourself, like, look, if I can't have this sacred sex with anybody else, I can still have this sacred sex between myself and the universe, is something I feel compelled to say. But the idea of can't really doesn't apply at all in my world anymore. I do not allow myself in any measure, in any way, to believe that can't is an actual thing. Limitation is a thing. Okay, so you're facing limitation right now, and it is a difficult time, so be gentle with yourself. Soften towards this angry person. Realize the anger is just protecting the vulnerable self. So it's like the werewolf protecting the young little child inside of you. So if you have werewolf tendencies, or your person has werewolf tendencies, just see how it's like these two parts. It's like one powerful meditation I did was to bring these two parts together, the inner child and the werewolf, bring them together in a visualization. Another thing you can do is take their inner child into your heart space. Okay, that's a powerful thing, because then you're not seeing them, like internally, your triggers aren't seeing them as a threat anymore. You're seeing them as a small child who has this werewolf tendency to protect themselves. Okay, so it's like a way to find compassion for your person. And it is this like feeling of separation between the two of you that can be mended with understanding and not feeling like the person is just there to use you or take your energy, or if there's like a lack of like reciprocation in the connection too. It is definitely time to take time apart if a person doesn't know how to give to you. 16 reverse, that's tower energy. So it could be that 10 reverse, yeah, it could be that this hasn't ended yet. It's not over yet. For whatever reason, it's not over yet. This is kind of similar themes to pile 1, so you might want to watch pile 1 as well, because it's about, if you feel called to pile 1, it's about divine timing and how to surrender to that. But in this case, I really feel like these two people have karmic soul contracts of coming back together again. I do. Yes, 2 reversed is just this person hasn't awakened their third eye yet, or the signs they're seeing are very much out of paranoia, and they might be caught up in like some kind of religious or spiritual dogma. This divine feminine might be a little more spiritually advanced with this Hierophant and is very committed to the spiritual path. So whatever path that you're on, whether you're divine masculine, divine feminine, commit to it. And know that if it is truly your heart's path, that when this river leads back to the ocean, right? And their river leads back to the ocean too. And that's where we're all trying to get, is to the ocean. Okay? So know that no matter what path you and your twin flame go down, that it is probably extremely likely that your soul contract brings you back to the same lake, the same ocean. Okay? So if this reading helped you, go ahead, like and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, go to www.divineheartfire.com. Hey, pile 3. So I'm already getting that this couple gets a lot of confusing signs about each other. Because we have 18, which is the unknown for the divine masculine, which is, I actually placed these 6 and 9, but upside down was what I was guided to do. So it definitely, you might be seeing a lot of 9, 6, 9, 6, 6, 9, 6, 9 type signs, but we have 5 and 18. So for the feminine, 5 can be changed in this case, but change as in spiritual transformation. Sorry, that was from the last reading. Spiritual transformation through all these kind of like obstacles and tests and figuring things out. I'm like drawn to the symbolism of this card, the air balloon versus like being entrenched in the maze. It's kind of like you're being called to look at the bigger perspective and not necessarily need to decode every single little symbol that you get, because there's going to be too many. It's going to be constantly reflecting your consciousness. 18 is like the masculine going through dark night of the soul probably. Ooh, and beginning to manifest things. 5 reverse, but wanting to do it in their own way, and not necessarily wanting to follow like a direct spiritual path. Yeah, 4 energy, Aries energy is very much like, I'm gonna do it my own way. Um, I'm really drawn to speak about the selenite. This selenite is a desert rose. So what I was getting to is through all these weird like challenges and byways and like very much like code breaky type energy. The counterparts eventually find like this sort of like it's like you're being led on a scavenger hunt. Like you find cool stuff through this union, and it's not just about the relationship at all. Okay, so there's a lot of manifestation going on. So you might be manifesting a lot of very strange circumstances and signs and synchronicities and be trying to constantly make sense of it all. But what you're being encouraged to do is look at the bigger picture, and it's like this, right? It's a lot easier to see this is always there when you're above the maze of trying to figure everything out. This is always there. And that's what you can see from zooming out and seeing the big picture. Breath of the cosmos, my will to thy will, micromanaging the universe. Okay, so both people are manifestors. Both people are trying to manifest a connection is what I'm getting. But it's like, my will to thy will, there's fated events that do need to play out, and it's just because of due to ancestral karma soul contracts that are deeper than probably what you're able to heal. At the same time, though, my will is thy will. Realize that you put yourself in these circumstances because you wanted to do it. I mean, that's tough to believe for a lot of people, but you wanted to do it. So 13 is masculine's going through the transformation, dark night of the soul time. Feminine is going, well, what's the point with this 2 reverse? What's the point? And communication wants to happen here. So a heart-to-heart conversation will be had eventually in this connection around the science and the synchronicities and the happenings. All the spiritual stuff will be talked about, okay? And you need to know this because, like, you're wanting validation. Both counterparts are wanting validation, but one counterpart really is having a hard time. I'm getting it's the divine masculine. With, the full energy is just not wanting to have to carry any kind of burden of ascension or being a, good person, I guess, in the eyes of the feminine, because it feels like the feminine has high standards based on spiritual belief, or perhaps it's, 10, it's this karmic, like, expectations, beliefs of, like, what a good partner should be. 8 reversed. Yeah. And needing to control, not out of malice, but out of wanting the best for the other counterpart. And of course, it's always mirrored on both sides. So it's kind of like, I don't want to take responsibility for your shit. You don't want to take responsibility for my shit. We're being guided through this maze. And it's like, I'm just seeing you bump into each other occasionally. You might live in the same town. But yeah, with 4 energy and 14 reverse, it really is this energy of independence in your plans, in your physical circumstances, needing to go and do other things in the physical without your counterpart as a part of your initiations. But seeing that the big picture is that I'm just getting that these people couldn't thrive with or without the connection. Both of them know this. Yeah, see, I got Aries energy again. I got Aries energy, I got Sagittarius energy, I got Leo energy, so fire sign energy, I got Capricorn, or just cardinal energy for some. It is that both are having an awakening, a really strong one. I'm seeing shamanic breathwork can help you here because a lot of the pain is buried for what needs to be healed. And that's why it's so confusing. You don't really know where it's coming from. So if you can just do shamanic breathwork and get emotional release, your pathways will change very, very fast. Yeah, I want to get a roll for that. 1 reverse. So you might get manifestations through shamanic breathwork that are a little tough to deal with at first. And you might be faced with a lot of your illusions. But if you can foster this like neutral bird's eye view perspective and have that consistently within you, breathwork will help you because you do the breathwork, you have your bird's eye, you see your human self going through the maze still. With your higher self, you're connected, right? It's like you're connected and you're able to communicate, while human self is like, what the fuck is this shit? And then the higher self is like, oh, it's this. You're actually, you remember you did the breath work, you're clearing. Good. Oh, okay. So it's a lot of air energy too. It's a lot of how you think about this connection. The thoughts you allow yourself to think, if they're maze type thoughts or if they're higher self type thoughts. And I'm seeing an integration is needed with heart space and breathing and stuff like that. Integration is needed to where you're not telling this self that it's not allowed to have feelings and be confused and all this. You're saying, no, it's okay. Listen, there's this treasure. That's why you're doing all this. Remember? Oh yeah. Okay. Thanks, higher self. Gosh, I'm just getting Aries energy over and over and over and over again. So you're being called to be very brave in this connection. Being very brave of like being in a lot of confusing situations that feel totally unworkable until like the last minute where you're like, oh, it was this the whole time. And so you're being called to take that mentality about everything in your life. 17. Okay, so it is also saying that divine masculine has a great deal of faith. Actually, if it's not presenting outward or being communicated, this is happening, okay? This awakening is occurring. And eventually the communications will happen once the masculine gains enough faith to truly communicate. And if you are communicating, if you are talking about it, it's that you're figuring this shit out together. And sometimes you need to be in your neutral self when you're talking to one another. You need to be in your neutral self. You need to be in your higher self. You need to be in your heart space so that when you're talking to their karmic inner child bullshit, you're not taking it personally. You're not making it about you. When you're talking to their Aries energy, you're not making it about you. To reverse. So yeah. Also, yeah, clearing entities is what I heard. Like, and also that fear of psychic attack or possible past lives where there was witchcraft done. You need to clear that through Akashic Records clearing. Shamanic breathwork can help you to not only clear, but to access the higher realms very easily. Tips for shamanic breathwork. Coconut oil, eat it beforehand, and drink lots of water. And yes, your throat will get dry, but and also spit will come out sometimes, especially if you do biodynamic breath work. So keep some towels around. But yeah, I'm really recommending breath work for you folks because the breath is what clears the mind. So if you're not doing shamanic breath work, use the breath to clear the mind. Anytime you feel like you're in this confusion, maze energy, what the fuck, paranoia, I can't interpret these signs, what do they mean? They're just attempting to get you to look at the bigger picture every time. See the God in yourself, 14 reverse, and to clear the emotions from a neutral place. The emotions of confusion, the emotions of feeling like the universe is against you. Honey, the universe is not against you, I promise, okay? Because there is this in every single karmic lesson. The lesson is not about showing you like, oh, you like teaching you through punishment or anything. You're not being punished. You're being given a gem of knowledge, okay, with breath, of knowledge. You're learning how the universe effing works, how your manifestation and your view and your thoughts about somebody else influences them and the vibrations around them, how they actually end up being, how they actually end up speaking to you. Your perspective does have some influence on your person. And so it's also about integrating all these parts of yourself. Seem like I am the main manifester of myself and how I appear in this universe and how I am perceived in this universe. That is me. That is me. So work with the mind, work with the air energy, work with the breath work with the lungs, work with the heart space. Be guided by your heart, be guided by what feels good. And when it don't feel good, it's just about coming back into balance, okay? Coming back into balance, baby. So if you want to get a private reading with me, you can visit www.divineheartfire.com. And I will see you in the next reading. Bye-bye.